I've got a John Deere backpack blower here, model BP65LE. It's got a Kawasaki TK65 two-cycle engine. What's happened with this blower is apparently they ran it with no oil in the gas. So when you go to turn it over, it's really stiff. And you don't feel any compression at all. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to take off the cylinder and examine the damage. First, start by removing the recoil. There's 4 Phillips screws, as you can see, and one down here. Once you've got all the 4 screws off, it's just going to come off like that. Now you're going to need to remove this black shroud. There's a Phillips screw here, one there, and one underneath over here. Now the thing's practically off, so just take the spark plug cap off. Just tilt this back like that, bring it up. Now we're going to take off the muffler. Now to take off the muffler, you have to have an Allen key wrench inserted into these holes here and over here and take off the bolt there. Now there's also a Phillips screw down in the center over here that needs to be removed. So I flipped it on its side there to show you inside the cylinder before I remove it. This is a quick way to diagnose it. You take the muffler off, you look inside, and if it's scored or scratched like that, then you know something's gone bad. You can see there's a chunk missing off the top of the piston there, and the rings are jammed on the piston and they're all scratched. So we're going to take the cylinder off anyways to get a better view. So I'll take off this little screw here on top of the metal cover. At this point here, I just realized I have to remove the carburetor so that I can remove the flange here because it's holding this metal piece. So I'm just going to start by removing the air filter. It's like brand new. The guy said it only used about 4 tanks of fuel. Now I'll need to remove these 2 Phillips screws here. Now this is going to come off, and the carburetor like that. Now I need to get the flange off. Just going to take the spark plug off first. Now this should come off. Now you'll need an Allen wrench to remove the 4 bolts at the bottom of the cylinder. So insert your Allen wrench through here. You can use a pair of pliers to undo it first. And just repeat the process. So now I've got all the 4 bolts off. Let's take it off and see what it looks like in there. It's pretty stiff in there coming out. Wow, look at that. Man, that's quite a chunk missing there. She's damaged pretty bad, scored all around. Now this is the side I showed you through the exhaust port, and it always seems to be worse on that side. If you feel the scratches on the piston, they're really deep. The rings are jammed in there, so it's pretty well pooched. Here's the cylinder. We know it's not carbon that caused that because the thing's like brand new. The exhaust port is really clean. It's got no carbon. Oh, you can see a lot of scratches there. Now this is the exhaust port side, and it's the worst. If I feel with my finger there, the scratches are really deep, so this cylinder is not repairable. Here's a closer view. Now another thing you want to look at when somebody runs stuff without oil is you want to make sure that there's no play in the connecting rod over here. So I'll try to move it up and down like this. And if you don't feel any play, then it's still good. TK65 2-cycle engine. It's got a Kawasaki TK65 engine. Usually the bearings will still be good in that if they didn't run it too long. So in this case, they probably ran it dry of oil, so it blew right away, so the bearings didn't have a chance to wear out. So usually you can just put a new piston kit. It will come with the piston rings, the wrist pin, and the cylinder. All that's damaged is what I showed you, the piston rings and the cylinder. So I'll tell the guy, I'll price out the parts first. And if he wants it rebuilt, then I'll make another video on how to rebuild this thing. So always check to make sure you've got oil and your gas in your 2-cycle equipment. If you lend it out to somebody, lend them your gas with it, then you know that they're putting in the proper oil and fuel mixture. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.